Welcome to the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles, the original food service equipment repair podcast built by technicians for technicians. Whether you're on the front lines of repair, keeping the kitchen running smoothly, or just passionate about the food service repair industry, this podcast is your go-to source for expert insight, tech tips, and real stories from the field. This episode is brought to you by Ambro Controls. If you're tired of dragging heavy tanks across rooftops, through kitchens, or into tight mechanical rooms, it's time to check out Ambro's mobile brazing, purging, and gas solutions. From their lightweight oxy brazing systems and precision torches to nitrogen purging kits, R290 and R600 refrigerants, and AS-58 thread sealant, Ambro Controls is focused on making your job easier, safer, and more efficient. Built for contractors, tested in the field, and designed to save you time and wear and tear. Learn more and find a distributor near you at ambrocontrols.com. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles. Today, I have very special guest, Erick Kaseta. I probably messed that up. Is that right?
Kaseta, close enough.
Kaseta? Okay. So, Erick, if you don't know Erick, he's with Ambro Controls. Erick's a pretty good dude. I met him last year at the Ambro Controls booth and had some fun. I did a booth appearance last year, hung out with Adrian from Live HVACR, and just hung out in the booth, and I'm looking to do the same thing again this year. But I wanted to have Erick on to catch up and to hear what's new and get the lowdown on Ambro Controls. So, Erick, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm wonderful. Glad to be on the show. Thank you very much, Pat.
Yeah, I know you said you had a busy day. You were over in Alabama doing some showing off some stuff and getting around. So,
yeah, it's been a busy day. I was in Mobile, Alabama this morning doing some contractor trainings. Sold a lot of kits, informed a lot of people. Had a good time. So glad to be home now, though.
Yeah, I'm always excited. I go into United Refrigeration across the street from my office is like their big warehouse, but they have your guys' kit sitting right there. So every time I go in there, I try taking a picture of it if it's out. Sometimes it's sold, sometimes it's out. Try to take a picture, tag you guys. That kit is my favorite thing on my truck right now. I got two favorite things. Of course, my press tool and then a torch. So go figure, it'd be the best of both worlds. So
yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Can you give my audience a quick overview of what Ambro Controls is, how you started, your mission, and what sets you guys apart in the HVACR space?
So Ambro Controls is a part of Broma Group. Broma Group is an Australian company. We've been in business 40 plus years now. Our whole mission is to make the contractor's life easier. Ambro stands for American Bromic, not super creative, but that's what we came up with.
Okay, it makes sense.
In the U.S., our main focus is lighter, easier, and safer for the contractor. Our first product was our brazing kit. Our brazing kit that only weighs 11 pounds. It's a quarter of the weight of normal oxy-acetylene and about half the size, but you don't lose any of the power, so you can do all the same jobs. We did that so the contractor, he's not having to worry about his shoulder hurting, his back hurting when he's carrying the big heavy torches. It's safer because the torch doesn't need to be on as long, and obviously when you're climbing a ladder, you need those 3 points of contact as well when you're climbing up. So that's how it adds to the safety component of what we have. But our main focus is just making it better for you guys out there, the contractors, making their jobs easier and making it so they can make more money on the next job a little bit quicker too.
Yeah, that translates really well over in the field, going across long rooftops, or in my case, climbing inside small refrigeration, reach-in. I do a lot of reach-ins, and it's great having something small and portable to go in there instead of carrying, dragging in that big torch and, the bulky hoses, getting tangled up and stuff. And that precision torch is my favorite. And I can get in, really tight places in these reach-ins and brazing TXVs, cap tubes, evaporators, that kind of stuff. And it works really well. So you guys have hit it out of the park with that for sure.
Yeah, the precision torch is fantastic. We came out with it about 2 years ago, and we sell a ton of the things. Again, it's got a ton of power, but it's very precise. There's not a lot of heat transfer with it. You don't have to worry about melting your TXV, melting your plastic, setting some drywall on fire, setting insulation on fire when you're working in somewhere. And again, it adds to the safety concept, because the last thing you want to do is start a small fire in someone's kitchen or in their house.
Yeah, that's a no-go. I've done some pretty sketchy stuff over my period of the last 20 years, and I burned some plastic up on some coolers. I'm not too proud to say I haven't. I've melted some plastic. I've melted some floors. I've done some bad stuff, but we all learn somehow, and the key is to be safer. And you guys do a really good job of helping that out.
Yeah, of course.
So Ambro's OxySet mobile brazing system gets a lot of buzz for portability and performance. Can you dive into how it compares to traditional oxy-acetylene setup and why techs are adopting to it?
So the main difference in ours is again the size.
Mhm.
So it only weighs 11 pounds. We're able to do that by we use an oxygen canister that's pressurized to 1600 psi. It's about 1 liter. We combine that with MAP gas, and your MAP gas is your standard MAP gas canister you get at any hardware store or wholesaler. We combine that into our small caddy. When you combine the two gases, you can get up to 5,500 degrees, which is the same temperature that oxy-acetylene can burn at when you turn up to its highest. So you don't lose any of the power of normal oxy-acetylene kits. You're
Mhm.
just saving space in your truck. You're saving pain in your back, pain in your shoulder, and you're not going to sacrifice any performance, even though we do have a smaller tank. A lot of people prefer because it's also disposable. No worries about getting refills, paying for new bottles. It's more affordable in a lot of cases. Our kit is than your normal oxy-acetylene setup is. Um, and just all around, again, it makes your job, the tech, a lot easier. I know you guys have 14 different refrigerants on your truck and 1,000 different tools, and your wrenches, your drills, your impacts, everything else. Our kit fits easily on the truck. You don't have to sacrifice a ton of space for it. Um, Make sure that you're in and out and on to the next job a lot quicker. No more extra trips to the truck to bring your torches. I mean, I know whenever I've done a job like that, it's if I have to drag in 40 pounds and go out to my truck, I'm having a bite of a sandwich. I'm kind of like trying to hype myself into it. And with our product, it's easy. It's grab and go, and you're on to the next thing.
Yeah, I got the backpack. I just throw the backpack on and grab some tools and just go in. It saves me one less trip, not lugging into big heavy tanks. It works pretty well. So on your Oxy setup, you guys have three different torches right now. Can you talk about those and explain the differences in each one?
So we have our precision torch. It came out about 2 years ago. That's going to be for your fine work. So you can do aluminum repair with it. It's great for doing coils. It's great for doing refrigeration. It's great for doing residential repair work. It'll do inch pipe and below pretty easily. Again, depends on user skill. But again, same heat, just going to be very precise. We have our normal torch, which is how it comes out of the box. That's going to be for 2 inch pipe and below. Again, same heat, a little bigger flame. So again, if you need to do that little bit larger pipe and a little bit need to get the job done a little bit quicker, that's fantastic. And then we have our power torch. So our power torch is new, came out within the past year. That's going to be for 3 inch pipe and below. So for you commercial guys that need the portability of our set, but are doing the bigger jobs, this has a big rosebud tip on the end of it. You can do a 3 inch pipe in 30 seconds if you're good enough, honestly. And you get that thing cherry red hot to put the solder on and sealed, and you're on to the next job. So we really offer a wide variety of solutions for your guy that has to do a pinhole leak to your guy that has to do a huge commercial installation on top of a roof somewhere. So we really run the gamut of any kind of contractor that you have out there.
Yeah, I got to play around with that power torch last year. I think it's impressive. I've never brazed 3 inch. You guys had a piece of 3 inch in the booth, and I was like, well, let's see if I can do this. And man, that thing, it gets hot and it does its job. It really is a pretty cool torch.
It is. It is.
So you guys do a lot more than just oxyacetylene. Of course, you've got your Performax, your straight map gas torch I use all the time, but you also have purging kits for nitrogen. That's an important thing. A lot of guys are, the last few years been jumping on is purging with nitrogen when you braze, get the oxygen out of the lines. You don't have to worry about the oxidation the line sets forming and stuff like that. You want to talk about your guys' purging setup?
Of course. So nitrogen obviously needs to be part of everyone's best practices. When you go to tech school, they always say, "Hey, look, this is what happens when you put heat to copper. You get the oxidation on the inside. You get that black crusty stuff." I'm sure every guy in the field has had at one time or another the TXV valve will get clogged if you don't clean that out of there. So if you have your nitrogen flowing while you braze, you eliminate that gunk on the inside of the pipe.
Mhm.
It saves you time for not having to go back to the job the next time. It saves your repair crew time for not having to go out to that job as well. And again, it is the best practice in the industry, and we all want to be held to the highest standard and be doing things the right way. I know doing things the right way is obviously something that's pride in the industry. Um, with a nitrogen kit, what you can also do is you also clear out condensate lines. How
Mhm.
many times have you been to a job where it's not working? Yep, the condensate line's clogged. It's not, it's a simple fix like that. You hook up our nitrogen kit to it. open up the valve, blow it out. Perfect. Great for purging systems as well. Obviously, if you're doing a tight commercial job or someone's home and you got to purge all the old refrigerant, great. Our nitrogen kit, it comes in a 2-liter bottle, only weighs a few pounds. Hook it up to the system and you can purge it pretty quickly. It really is a nice tool for guys that want a complete setup in terms of doing things the right way.
Yeah, it's perfect for my application because, like you said, I use it to purge blow drains out on these small walk-in, reach-in coolers. You get in there, get a little fitting. You guys have those little brass plugs, just shove it in there and blow it right out. It does a good job with that. I do a lot of R290 work, and you want to make sure you purge that system for like 5 minutes to get all that residual gas out of the system. And it's perfect for that. I set it to this real slow pressure. I go in, I cut my lines, I dump my charge. I have my fitting on there. I hook the hose up. I just let it run for 5 minutes while I'm bringing in the rest of my tools. And then I do a quick sweep of my leak detector to make sure all my gas is out, and then I know I'm ready to go. I'm safe. And then, I use it when I braze, and then small stuff, I'll go ahead and pressurize the system up to, 200, 150, 200 PSI, depending on what I'm doing with that system. And I can do that for 2 or 3 jobs with a small tank.
Yeah, I mean, our regulator is scoped at 870 PSI. We know with the new Freon, especially, they're making people pressure test to that amount. And our nitrogen's enough to pressure test most systems. You want to make sure that the job's done right at the end of the day, too. So you pressure test, make sure you hold your pressure, disconnect the tank, and move on to the next job.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It sure does beat, dragging in that big CO2 or big nitrogen tank to blow out a drain, man. And then it's falling over in the kitchen. I'll tell you, I'm terrible about breaking regulators, and this one I just unscrew it, throw it in the case, put it back in. It's protected, it's out of the way. I don't have to worry about breaking it.
Exactly. It comes in a beautiful case and also has a full warranty on the parts and pieces as well. So in case you do break it, we'll cover free of charge.
Nice. So I noticed you guys sell R290. I've actually been using it for quite a while now. I lean heavily on United Refrigeration, and pretty much all my self-contained stuff's R290 anymore, and I've been using your guys' R290 cans, and they work out pretty well. I didn't realize you guys had that product for a while, and I was talking to someone on social media, and they're like, no, we do sell R290, we sell R600. So you want to talk about a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we do have the R290, R2600, and the R600 available. Those are your main 2 refrigerant gases for a lot of the guys that do the refrigeration repair right now. I actually was at the king of R290 today. I was at Buc-ee's, which we all know and love. And to think they had, probably 80 coolers in there all running off the same product. R290, it's a commodity. We have it for the cheapest price out there. 14-ounce cans, pretty easy to use, and they're able to fit on all your major scales out there. It's really a nice product to round out for our refrigeration techs, because obviously you have our torch to braze the lines, you have our nitrogen to purge and to pressure test, and then you have our refrigerants to refill the system. So R290 really is the wave of the future. Everything that you're going to see now is going to be coming out with that. And then R600 as well. A lot of systems use R600, especially, heck, it's in your home refrigerator right now, probably. But it's a neat little product to have to really round out our line.
Yep, R600 has been big in the residential line for years. That's in some small commercial refrigeration. Most of it's R290, but there is quite a bit of R600 out there. A couple brands I do some warranty work for. I don't pay attention. I'll go to the tag like, luckily I have a small little tank of R600 to get me by. But yeah, you guys have pretty much got that gas section just knocked out for what I need.
Exactly.
So I didn't realize you guys sold thread sealing as well. You guys are just throwing stuff out here left and right and not telling nobody about it.
Yeah, so we do have a thread sealant called AS58, developed in Australia a number of years ago. So we brought it over to the States. What's nice about our thread sealant is, unlike a couple of the other competitors out there, our thread sealant, so it's anaerobic. So all that you need is just one beater on the thread, and it's going to stay liquid until you close that system up. So if you have a bunch of lines to do, you do all the lines at once, and it's going to stay viscous. Then once you close that system by putting the nut on there, let's say, that's when it starts to cure. So you could still play with it for the next 10, 15 minutes. Make sure you get the right tightness on there. Make sure it's where you want to be. But after that, it's going to harden. Okay. What's the best thing about ours is it's heat cycle resistant. So obviously, I live in Atlanta, Georgia. We get anything from about to have an ice storm this weekend. It's going to be 4 degrees to 104 degrees. So it's going to resist expanding and contracting like a lot of our competitors do as well. Then also it's vibration resistant. So I've been on a number of jobs where they've used like a pipe dope product and it's near a pump that's just shaking it all day. It's going to shake it right out of those threads, and ours does not do that. So all that you need is just a bead of it around the thread, close it up. After about a half hour, you're good to go. You can still back it off with a good turn of a pipe wrench, about 30 pounds of force. So it's not on there forever if you do need to come out and change out, a valve or whatever else you're doing at the time. But it's going to stay sealed and it's going to stay strong. So it's good for potable water. It's spec for government work. NSF certified. So it's a pretty neat little product, especially for our friends that do a lot of natural gas work. I know in the natural gas field, we sell a ton of the stuff up north to the guys out there that like it. It's not a sexy product, obviously, as the torches are, but the sealant really does. Again, it makes the contractor's job easier, less messy. And they're not having to carry around a big thing of pipe dope because, pipe dope, if you get on your pants are ruined. Leave the lid off that thing, it hardens like a rock and you got to throw it away. So it's more economical, cleaner to use, doesn't stink. So it's a little bit safer as well, but it's a really good all around product for us. And we'll have some at the booth as well to demonstrate for guys too.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out because I like the squeeze tube aspect. You're not trying to, dig around the bottom of the jug and, you got some product left down in there you can't get out. You're using a screwdriver to dig it out to get your job done. That squeeze tube, you just, store it upside down and you're good to go. So I like that aspect of it a lot.
Yeah.
So do you guys offer, training or resources for contractors? Whether it's on the website or it's, they see you at a supply house, you having a supply house day or something. What do you guys have out there for people for training?
So we have plenty of videos on our website on ambrocontrols.com. Also linked to our YouTube page on there. And actually we've used a lot of your videos, Pat, and some other of our influencers as well that have, done some work for us. I've done some training videos out there in the field. This morning I did a contractor training in Mobile, Alabama. We have a number of outside sales reps in the country. I think we're up to 110 or so. They're out there doing counter days for us and contractor days. If anyone does want a contractor demo done for them, we're happy to do it. We travel all across the country doing this and informing the public what we have to offer. We put on probably, 10 counter days per week across the country, based in the Southeast, and I'm doing them a few times a week. And we love to be in front of the contractor, show them how to use the tools, because really it's continuing education. If we can educate the contractor on a new product and something they haven't thought of before, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's great. Continuing education, showing off the products, that kind of stuff is huge for, building that relationship with the contractors and make sure they're doing it safely. We all have seen people do some dumb stuff, and some people don't understand how some products work, and you have it out there online, in person, or however it can be. So that's cool. You guys do that.
Exactly.
So can you talk about the role of education in HVAC tools? How important is it to tech stay updated on new brazing, purging, or refrigerant handling techniques?
So like anything else, it's, we're always learning, when I first came to this industry, I did not know squat about HVAC refrigeration. I still don't think I know much of anything at all, honestly, but every day I learn something new. I'm not afraid to ask questions. I love watching, your how-to videos and other guys and things that I don't understand. I want to read up on, I'm happy to watch a video about it, but every single day, if we can provide a value to our customer, which is going to be, if I can braze better, so I'm in and out of their house quicker, or if I can purge their lines to save another call out here, if I can flow the nitrogen so I can save another call out here, if I can make sure the pipes are sealed, it's really a value added service for our customers. There's nothing worse than, I've had contractors in my house that I can tell, like, man, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's not saying it with confidence, but we want to give the contractors out there every tool they need to succeed. Because when you walk in that customer's home or in their restaurant and you say, hey, look, this is what I'm going to do. This is why I'm going to do it. And you do your job, they're usually over the moon. This isn't, it's a service industry. And it's a problem solving industry. And the way you solve problems is with education. If you can educate yourself about how to use the tool the proper way, you give a better service. You're you're more in demand. You know, you can make a ton more money in this job if you know the right way to go about things. So it's really exciting. You know, I enjoy every day teaching people how to use our products and how to approach things from a different way.
Yeah, that's cool. Making sure the technicians are prepared. You know, as a technician, it's always terrible when you go into something you're not ready for. I mean, I work on stuff every day that I don't know what it is or how it works, and you gotta just keep that strong face and figure it out. But it's glad to see you guys have the backs of people learning and stuff in the industry. So, and I want to shout out CKS Sales Chris. Chris May. She is the local rep for you guys, and she's doing a phenomenal job. And she's been talking to me about some stuff, and I'm excited to meet her at AHR as well. So I want
Yes, yeah, the CK has been great for us, and honestly, Indianapolis is a stronghold for us. We do really well there, thanks in part to you guys, and obviously the support of CKA.
Yeah, that's cool. So, safety and field tips. Let's get into that. On the website, there's content about crucial steps for brazing safely and more. What are some of the most common mistakes you see techs making? Not just with your product, but with any product, things that people should avoid.
So while you're brazing, you obviously always want to check and see what your surroundings are. I have a blown insulation attic, so I have a little fluff up there that whenever I go up there with a torch, I'm very concerned about what I'm doing, and I need to have control of the flame. I always ahead of time think these are the steps I need to take. I need to make deliberate steps and make confident steps as well to make sure that I keep myself the safest I could possibly be, because my own safety is number one in the field. And I keep the safety of either the home that I'm in or the commercial building that I'm in. You always want to make sure that you have plenty of gas. You always want to make sure that you're in a well-ventilated area, and also that you have protection on as well. So I always like to wear a little bit of eye protection whenever I braze, because obviously that flame will get you from staring at it for a while. Make sure that your surrounding area doesn't have anything flammable. You're not doing it over top of, again, insulation, or there's not plastic around you, because again, those plastic fumes, once they get in the air, make you a little dizzy. If you're going to be singeing some wood in someone's attic, that's not a safe practice either. At the end of the day, like, we all have a family to come home to, and you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to use our product safely. So,
yeah. And, make sure you're purging, in my case, in my industry in particular, I make sure you're purging with nitrogen to get all that R290, R600 out, that kind of stuff. Everyone freaks out about it. I mean, I've seen some units go up, but generally it's not too bad. I mean, because it's confined, it shoots out like a lighter. You got like a little flame. I mean, some are pretty impressive for a second or two, and then they go out. But that's something you don't want to do in a kitchen, because you're going to cause damage to customers' equipment, stuff like that. So,
it's flammable. Not quite explosive, but everyone thinks it's going to be like those old Wile E. Coyote cartoons where your face is soot black and your hair is flying backwards, and obviously, again, like purging just to make sure all that flammable refrigerants out of there is pretty key.
Yeah, that, and everything's clear and good to go. So next week, I'm going to be heading to Vegas. I think you're going to be heading to Vegas. It's that time of year. It's AHR. It's my favorite show of the year. I do a couple every year, and I always look forward to this. From the new tools to the influencers to friends, companies I work with. It's just a blast. The atmosphere is like no other, and I'm just excited to be there. So, you guys are going to have a booth, and I'm sure you're going to be showcasing some brand new gear. Let's not talk too much about that, because I don't want to get in trouble, but you guys are showcasing some new stuff this year, aren't you?
Yeah, so we have a few new products out this year, improvements on our current ones, and some things that are coming down the pipe here for you guys pretty soon. I always love AHR because, honestly, I like to see my friends. Like, I get to see you every year, and I always enjoy our time together. Whether it be other influencers, our sales reps, or just contractors I've seen at the show every single year. And I'm always just amazed at how much innovation is in this industry. There's millions of square feet of new products I haven't even seen yet, I haven't even thought about. It's just an overwhelming amount of knowledge and technical expertise out there that a person doesn't even think about. I mean, AHR is a ton of fun. We're going to have some giveaways this year. So if you complete our little, If you complete our little test, we have some t-shirts for people. We have some stickers as well, and some fun things that are to be determined as well. So it's going to be a fun crowd. And obviously, whenever there's a flame involved, we get big crowds.
Mhm.
People like to see the flame. We always have brazing competitions. People act like they're real big and tough until actually the flame has to hit the pipe and they actually have to do something with it. I've had guys that have been saying, I've been brazing for 30 years, but when it comes down to it, it's like, maybe you're not quite as good as you thought you were, or maybe, your new tech is twice as good as you are. So it's always a lot of fun because, again, it's people like to showcase their skills because there's a point of pride, and I always like to see people just really in their element, and especially with you, Pat. I mean, that's you can tell the care and passion you feel out of these products, especially when you braze. I can tell that you really take it as an art form and you take it
Yeah.
very seriously.
Yeah, I love the booth because there's always people in there that haven't seen the product, or they come there just to see that product and put their hands on that product. I love having fun in the booth. We'll show the product off. Like you said, you guys are giving stuff away. They got to do some challenges. Last year, my parent company, I work for a company that's owned by a couple other companies. I'm a big giant conglomerate, but they actually came by the booth, and I believe Wolf of HVAC was in there, and they recorded some stuff. They always have content out, and it actually went viral for them with Adam in the booth doing some stuff. And I was like, that was really cool. They're like, thanks for telling us about that booth. That booth was great. I was like, you just picked the right time to be there with the right person in the booth because
Yeah.
Adam is a character and he knows his stuff. He's a good one to watch.
Yeah, he's an unbelievably skilled with the torch in his hand. Quite reserved otherwise, but man, when you get the torch in his hand, it's like an extension of his arm, and he's fantastic. And he's a great representation of who's out there in the field in our industry for sure.
Yeah, I've got a new trainee with me. I think this is his third week, and I had him try the torch out. And he was a residential installer. We don't do residential, and he came over to this side and is trying to learn. And at first, he didn't understand it. And when I told him, I was like, just put some heat on there, crank it up, you'll be good. Don't worry about it. He's like, I don't want to burn it up. I was like, no, you'll be fine. And once he got used to it, he's like, man, this thing's great. And this kid can, I say kid because he's younger than me, but I think he's in his 30s. But this guy can braze, man, for being a residential install guy. It's like, I'm not going to knock another residential install guy ever again.
Yeah, he knows his stuff. It's impressive. I mean, I'm an amateur when it comes to it, but you can tell he truly thinks it's an artwork.
So, any memorable moments from last year's AHR you want to talk about, or anything like that?
Honestly, I remember, our booth's always busy, but at one point I took a step back and I looked at all the badges that people had, and people, last year it was in Orlando. People are from Florida, they're from New York, they're from California. We get people from the Caribbean, we get people from Europe, people from Canada, and just kind of seeing, all the people around our booth and the passion that they have for our industry. Like when I was a child, I never thought this would be what I would be doing. This isn't like a sexy industry, quote unquote,
Yeah.
but I've really come to enjoy it. And I love all the people that I meet. And when I take a step back and look at the amount of people that have come from across the US and other countries to come together and are passionate about our product and that want to learn more and that want to use it, that makes me feel special to know that I really have an impact out there in the world too.
Nice, nice. So, if someone is going to be attending HR for the first time, what's one thing you want every HVAC or tech to know before they hit the show floor?
One, wear comfortable shoes. You're
That's
going to be
all.
on your feet.
That's
It's a
always
cement
number one.
floor all day. That's always tough. But honestly, if you're not sure, talk to new people,
Mhm.
because there's always a booth where you're not sure what it is and you may not be comfortable with it, but ask some questions. People are happy to help you out. I've answered the most rudimentary questions about brazing 10,000 times at every single show now, and I still love to do it. uh, the show is out there for the techs to learn new stuff and to take back what they learn of the show and to impart that upon their customers. So ask as many questions as you want. Ask me for as many stickers as you can carry. We're happy to let you try out all of our products. It's really it's a fantastic environment, and I can't wait to go.
Yeah, and what I'm gonna say is, if you see someone from social media you follow or interact with, say hi. A lot of these people won't remember your names. I'm terrible with names. I remember people's social media handles, and I can't ever remember the names, and I feel terrible about it. But if you interact with somebody online or you follow them, say hi, introduce yourself. You never know what kind of connection you're gonna make. I get a lot of people that follow me, and I don't catch it, and I try to follow everybody back as long as they're like not a bot or something. So if you follow me and you see me out there, say hi, or anybody else. Most anybody on social media is really down to earth people. We're all tradespeople. We're all trying to grow this industry. So say hi to somebody for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's again, it's you'll sign autographs if people ask them. Obviously,
Oh yeah,
you're a rock star in the industry.
I'm having fun.
So
It's all about having fun and showing off what we do. That's what I love. Um,
yeah,
so my first AHR was Vegas. So what, 4 years ago? I'd never been to Vegas, and we came in Friday. I'm doing the same thing again this year, but Indiana's Eastern, Vegas a couple hours, behind. We got up super early on Saturday because we, flight and everything else. I walked like 12 miles before noon because you see these big giant buildings. You've never been there. You're like, oh, you can see the building. It's not that far. No, that building's like 4 miles away. So,
it is. It's impressive how much show floor there is.
mhm,
Things I never even thought of in the industry, companies I've never even seen before.
mhm.
That was my first AHR as well, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, again, I live in Atlanta Eastern Time Zone. I woke up at 4:15 every day because I got two young kids. My body clock won't reset, but it's just walking around taking all that in is I don't want to use the term magical, but it's almost there.
Yeah, it's definitely my Disney.
Yeah, for sure.
I
I
bought
get it.
I
A
get I
lot
bought
cheaper.
shoes. I bought new shoes. They came in yesterday, so
So did I.
I
So
gotta
did
get
I.
I gotta get them bad boys broke in because it's gonna
I
be.
always take some Tylenol when the day starts too to ease up on that back pain. So
So I take Tylenol and I take liquid IVs.
that's the way to do it, man. It's a long. I'm 40 years old. I'm not as young as I used to be. I don't
Yeah.
have that energy anymore.
When I was a kid, I used to party like crazy, never have a hangover, and now I'll drink one old fashioned. I wake up the next day and I'm like, why do I feel like I want to die? It's like it was
If
one
I
old fashioned.
if I have Dr. Pepper too late in the day, I feel it the next day, man.
Oh,
I can't do it anymore.
that's great.
Yeah.
So, if you had to choose one Ambro product that every HVAC tech should own, what would it be and why?
It's honestly it's our original torch. There's always going to be a place for torching in this industry. There's always going to be repair work to be had. Anything that makes my life easier, that makes me able to be made to make more money, that makes my life safer.
Mhm.
It's hard to turn it down. If I'm saving my shoulder pain, I'm doing jobs quicker, I'm on to the next job quicker, I'm making more money, I'm getting in and out of the homeowner's house quicker, they're happier with us. It's an original product for a reason. It's because it's the best, and I love it. I love what I do. It's a fantastic product.
Nice, nice. So, what's one myth about brazing and purging that drives you nuts and you just want to debunk?
That it's antiquated, because everyone says ProPress is the way of the future. I understand that it has all of that it has its applications, but there's always going to be a place
Mhm.
where you can't press. There's always going to be a pinhole leak somewhere. There's always going to be a place where you can't quite fit your ProPress tool, so the torch can really come in handy. And again, it's an art. If you can do it well, it is beautiful.
Yeah, and I tell everybody all the time, people are like, because I press, I braze, I do it all. I mean, I just like playing with tools. That's my guilty pleasure. If there's a tool out there I see, I want it, I'm going to buy it, I'm going to get in trouble. But um, I tell everybody, like, there's always going to be a place for brazing. It's never going to be completely gone. You're going to have to be, you're going to have to be comfortable doing it, learn how to do it. But, if you can do both, you can do both. If you just want to braze only, braze only. I've had some situations where I was in some, I won't say what it is, a major pharmaceutical company in my area, and they told me that they laughed at me and said I didn't have enough insurance to light a torch in their facility. And they also said if you want to light a torch here, you have to take a 2-week class, and we're not paying for it. I was like, well, I guess I'm not brazing here. So um, what I did, I had to change compressors. So what I did was I brazed in stubs on the
Mhm.
compressor, capped them off, and then took the compressor in and cut it and pressed it in place, pressed the filter dryer in, and away it went. So, I mean, you're always going to have to be able to do it. I mean, it just
Yeah.
is what it is. It's part of it. And get comfortable doing it and use Ambro.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
So, I think we about covered all of it. Any more teasers for AHR? Don't get me in trouble. I don't want to get you in trouble, but I will say you're going to want to come by the booth and check it out. There's going to be several new products or several redesigned products that are launching, and I'm excited to see them.
Right by the door. The better part is if you like an Australian accent, half our employees have an Australian accent. You know,
Yeah.
I always joke one of our coworkers was a yellow wiggle. So that's always people always get a big kick out of that.
So
It's honestly a fun product. It's hands-on.
Hmm.
You know, everyone likes to do things with their hands and show off what they can do. It's really it's a blast. I can't wait.
So should I ask you who the yellow wiggle was when I get there?
It'll be obvious.
Oh, I
It'll
know
be
which one it is, but I just
if you see Josh in our booth, you give him a hard time about it.
I will. I'll be there. So I'm going to be in the booth Monday from 11:30 to 12:30. I'm going to be hanging out. I'm going to do a live stream. I'm going to be recording some stuff. So if you want to come in and see me, come in the booth. You can braze with me. We can show off the new tools, hang out. I'm excited for AHR. I'm excited for Ambro. I really appreciate what Ambro does to help my channel, help me promote the food service repair industry, the skills of trades in general. Ambro is a great product, and let's show them some love at AHR.
Yeah. Again, come see me. We got stickers. We got t-shirts if you do our little challenge and complete it. So it's going to be a fun time. Everyone loves stickers. I know you got a million behind you, so we got some more to add to it.
Yeah, I need some more, so I'm about to come steal a few Ambro ones. I got a feeling.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
All right, Eric, I will see you in a little over a week in Vegas. I'll see you then, buddy.
Awesome, buddy. Appreciate it, Pat. Thank you.
Thank you. If you guys would, please consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the podcast. It really helps us grow and helps us know which direction to move in. Also, if you have any suggestions for guests, please email me at commercialkitchenchronicles@gmail.com. Or if you want to be a guest, email me. Love to have you guys on. Thanks a lot. See you next week.